Hello ladies and gentlemen, your boy here once again, Classic Forex speaking. You know how we do it. We simplify, decomplicated. Last week was a losing week for all of us. We made losses last week, but hopefully this week we are going to recover all our loss. So let's start with our pre-market analysis this weekend, starting on GBPJPY. As for GBPJPY, we are going to take our time and then analyze this pair very well, okay? Very well to know where the direction of the market is going and how we can pick our entry into that direction. So GBPJPY, let's start the analysis right here on the monthly time. So what is happening on the monthly time frame of GBPJPY? Let's get into it. Now GBPJPY, we have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone over here. On the monthly time frame, what we are seeing is what is an uptrend. Why? Because price made a push, we gave us a higher high, it dropped down for higher low, a new higher high, another higher low, but buyers couldn't extend the market all the way to the upside anymore. Instead, anytime it tries to go all the way up, it sees strong level of sell pressure to the downside. So we can ask ourselves questions here on the monthly time frame, okay? So whenever you are doing the analysis, make sure to ask yourself questions so that the answers can be inculcated or the answers can be brought into your brain. You know, we are working on our brain over here, right? So on the monthly time frame, prices on this support level, we are seeing sell pressure from here, which is bringing the market continuously to the downside. So the question we are asking is that, would the buy pressure here be enough to move the market all the way up again, or are sellers going to be able to push the market all the way down? Let's try and then get the answer right here on the monthly before we take it to the weekly. So in the monthly time frame, what I can clearly see now is a bearish engulfing candle close which is forming at the moment. Now this bearish engulfing candle close is an indication that there's more sell pressure that can push the market or break below the mid-range zone to come all the way to the lower zone over here. So this tells us, okay, on the monthly, that sellers are in control, they're going to be able to push the market all the way to a downside. But how true is this? You cannot just end the analysis over here. How true is this? Let's take it to the various time frames, also analyze it, and then know if indeed the other time frames are going to confirm the movement to the downside on GBPJPY. Alright, so GBPJPY, let's take it all the way to a weekly time frame to add more details. Alright, so this is the weekly time frame of GBPJPY. Let's put meaning into it very quick. Alright, so on the weekly time frame of GBPJPY, we have the weekly resistance or the weekly mid-range zone over here, which is what? Seeing what? Sell pressure very well. Now, if you look at the weekly time frame, what you can see is what? Respected what? Lower highs over here. Okay, those of you that love to draw a trend line, realize that they will put a trend line all the way down over here. It's the same thing, okay? Price created what? The low over here. Okay, it couldn't go above. It kept creating what? Lows. So this means that what? We have respected lower highs over here, indicating that what? There's more sell pressure, bringing the market all the way to the downside on GBPJPY. So GBPJPY, since we have been able to understand the weekly, that price is what? Moving to a downside or creating what? Lower highs. That means that we are definitely going to see a break below the support level to come all the way down to the next monthly support level below over here as well. So GBPJPY, over here the weekly, we are also getting the indication that sellers will be able to break below and then drop all the way down. I think we have already broken below, as you can see over here. This was a move all the way down here, and they've gone all the way for retest here. So indeed, we are dropping all the way to the next support level in that simple manner. But how are we going to be able to locate entries below to sell all the way down? Let's take it further to a daily time frame where we can add more details to the analysis. Alright, so this is also the daily time frame of GBPJPY. Now GBPJPY on the daily time frame, let's as usual also add what? Meaning to the daily. On the daily, what do we see? We see a downtrend on the daily. So you can see the downtrend began up here when price broke what? Below the daily support level above there, giving us what? A daily push all the way down, which became a lower low here. It went up for lower high, and then from there you see continuation push all the way down. So the daily time frame is also telling us that GBPJPY, we are definitely going to see sell pressure from the monthly resistance level here to continuously move the market all the way to the downside. Alright, so GBPJPY, since the daily is also clear because we are seeing what? The lower low and the lower high, then what are we going to do? We are going to sell over here, hopefully to create a new lower low below at the what? The monthly support level as well. So GBPJPY, let's take it all the way to a 4-hour time frame and then prepare for entry from here all the way to a downside on this pair. Alright, so GBPJPY, taking it all the way to a 4-hour time frame for entry. Alright, so this is the 4-hour time frame of GBPJPY. Now GBPJPY on the 4-hour time frame, let's also put meaning into the analysis. Why on the 4-hour time frame we saw a push a downside, which was what? Lower low. We saw what? Retest lower high, price went again, came all the way back for another lower high, dropped down, and we saw another what? Move all the way to the upside. Okay, but over here on the 4-hour time frame, what we are going to do is that we are going to capitalize on this sell pressure that price is seeing anytime it touches this what? Monthly resistance level. So you can see that what? The first move to a downside, when price went up, it saw sell pressure, it came down, went back again, sell pressure, came down, and has gone up again, and definitely going to see more sell pressure to bring the market all the way to a downside. Someone may say, classy, is this not a reversal pattern? Is this not a head and shoulder formation? It is a head and shoulder formation, but remember, this head and shoulder formation is not going to be strong enough to reverse the market from a monthly what? Perspective, or from a monthly resistance level in this manner, right? Yes, so we know that sellers are much more in control on the monthly, weekly, and the daily as well. So definitely going to be more sell pressure from here to the downside as well. Okay, and this move was just what? A spike in the market. Remember, I think last week Monday, this was what? A spike in the market. We cannot really, confirm how strong this level of what sensitivity is to move the market back up in that manner. So GBPJPY, we're going to be looking for entry here to sell all the way down to the next one monthly support level. So entry on GBPJPY is going to be on candle what? Confirmation. So be it what? A bearish engulfing candle close, a significant pin bar, or an evening star. Once it appears over here, this will be the confirmation candle for us to sell all the way down to the next monthly support level on GBPJPY. So GBPJPY, this becomes our full and complete technical analysis. Alright, let's take it all the way to GBPNZD as the next pair on the list. I have a couple of pairs, I'll be analyzing all of them for you guys as usual. Alright, so GBPNZD, let's take it all the way to a monthly time frame. Okay, so this is also GBPNZD on the monthly time. We are going to take our time and also analyze this pair very well. Right, so GBPNZD on the monthly time frame. We also have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. What do we see on the monthly? We are seeing an uptrend. We have got the monthly push high, monthly exhaustion high low, and the monthly push new high. Where should price go? Price should drop all the way down to create what? A higher low. Technically, that is what we are supposed to do what? To be seeing on the monthly time frame. So price should drop down to create what? A higher low. Now, how sure are we that price will be able to create a higher low on the monthly? Let's find out. If you look closely at the monthly time, you're going to notice that what? There's a strong level of sell pressure over here, which is forming what? A very perfect candle to act as a reverser to sell all the way down here, right? So this is what? A bearish swing bar, a very strong one, indicating that there's more sellers in the market to push the market back down here as the next what? Higher low of the monthly. So how are we going to be able to pick sells from here all the way down? Let's take it again to a weekly time where we can add more details to this what? Analysis. Alright, so this is the weekly time frame of GBPNZD. Now GBPNZD on the weekly time frame, what do we have here? We have our weekly mid-range zone. Price is in an uptrend on the weekly. Why? Because we've seen the weekly push higher low, new higher, and then new higher low as well. So since price is an uptrend, are we going to be able to sell now? No, we cannot sell now, okay, because we are in an uptrend, right? So since price is an uptrend, we are going to what? Wait for it to become a downtrend before what? We can sell. How can price become a downtrend? By breaking what? Below the middle zone. So we need what? Entries below this what? Weekly mid-range zone before we can sell all the way to a downside. So if sellers are able to break below this what? Mid-range zone, then we can sell what? From here all the way down to the next monthly support to capitalize on the monthly higher low. How sure are we that price will be able to break below this level? Number one, we are seeing what? A bearish engulfing candle close over here. Okay, this is a very strong bearish engulfing candle close, indicating how there's more sell pressure that can eventually break below for us to sell below this yellow zone or the middle zone all the way down to the monthly what? Support level over here as the monthly higher low. But let's take it all the way to the daily time frame and then try to predict how the market will break below before we can start looking for sales to the monthly support level. Alright, let's take it all the way to the daily time frame. Alright, so this is the daily time frame of GBPNZD. Now, GBPNZD on the daily time frame, we have the daily mid-range zone over here. Price is in a downtrend on the daily, which is supporting what? The entry to a downside. Let me explain. So if you look at the daily time frame, this is a daily push, daily exhaustion, another daily push, a new high, another daily exhaustion. Price failed to go all the way to the upside. Instead, it broke below previous what? Previous high over here to a downside, giving us what? A lower low. So on the daily time frame, since price is the downtrend, there are two things that can happen over here. You see that price goes all the way up to retest as lower high, later break below, give us a new lower low, new lower high, and then it continues to sell all the way in that manner. So in case a scenario of this manner happens, we are not going to sell over here, because if we decide to sell over here, that means that we are selling whilst the weekly is in an uptrend. Remember, as long as we are above the weekly mid-range zone, we are in an uptrend. Okay, so we are not going to sell over here. Rather, we are going to wait for price to create what? That new lower low, that new lower high, before we can sell at the next lower high here, the daily, all the way to the downside. Simple as that. Simple as that. But if this scenario does not occur, and then we see price just break below, give us for a lower high, then we can also sell from here in that same manner. Remember, entry is below what? The weekly mid-range zone. Right. So GBPNZD, this is what we're expecting before we pick our entry. Either what? A retest here, price breaks below, new lower high, and then we sell from here to the downside, or price breaks below now, retest lower high, and we also sell all the way down to the next monthly support level in that manner. Right. Now, since what price has not done any of these, I'm not going to take you to the 4 hour time frame to show you guys anything, okay? Because on the 4 hour, you're not going to see anything on the full H, unless you see what the break below here before you switch to the 4 hour and then look for possible entries to the downside also. So GBPNZD, this is also a full and complete analysis. But for the sake of some of you, let me just take it to 4H so that you guys can also see the 4 hour structure. All right. So this is the 4 hour structure of GBPNZD, and it's almost the same thing as we saw on the 4 hour, on the daily time frame as well, right? So on the 4H, this goes to a push, you see exhaustion. Are we going to sell over here? No, we are not going to sell from here to the downside. Instead, we are going to wait, okay? We are going to wait for price to break below the yellow zone. Break below the yellow zone. So if you see the retest and the price come down again, break below the yellow zone, okay, new lower low, new lower high, then we sell at the lower high here all the way to the downside. If price does not go for lower high, but instead it just breaks below with a push, goes to wait for retest, the same thing, we sell all the way down to a monthly support level. So GBPNZD, this is also our full and complete technical analysis. All right, let's take you to the next one on the list. Next one on the list is going to be BTCUSD, Bitcoin or BTCUSD. Let's take it all the way to a monthly time frame to also understand what the monthly is telling us on this particular pair. All right, so BTCUSD, this is the monthly time frame. Let's put meaning into it very quick. Now, the monthly time frame, we have the monthly upper, the mid-range, and then the lower zone. What is the price doing? What is price doing on the monthly time frame? Price moving to the upside. We have higher high, higher low, higher high, another higher low. What happens next? Continuation push all the way to the upside. So GBP or BTCUSD, price has completed new higher high and a new higher low on the monthly. So I'm definitely going to see buy pressure from here to push the market all the way to the next monthly support level. So if price is going to see buy pressure from here to go all the way to the upside, then how are we going to pick our entry to move in that direction? Let's take it again to weekly time where we can add more meaning or details to this particular analysis. Let's take it to weekly. All right, so this is the weekly time frame of BTCUSD. Now, BTCUSD on the weekly time frame, we have a weekly mid-range zone. What else do we see on the weekly time frame? We are seeing a downtrend, price book below, lower low, lower high, equal low, and then it has gone all the way to the upside. Are we going to be able to buy below this weekly mid-range zone to the upside? No. Why? Because on the weekly time frame, price is in a downtrend, and as a downtrend, we cannot just buy now to the upside. So what we are going to do is that we are going to wait for buyers to break above this resistance level with a push retest before we can look for more opportunities to buy to the next monthly resistance level. How sure are we that buyers will be able to break above the weekly mid-range zone? Because we have a bullish engulfing candle close by. So this bullish engulfing candle will certainly bring in more buy pressure to break above so that we can move forward to the next monthly resistance. So this is the only thing stopping us from picking entry to a monthly resistance level. So we need to break above it first before we can get here. All right, let's take it all the way to the daily time where we can add another meaning to this analysis. All right, so this is the daily time frame of BTCUSD. Now, BTCUSD on the daily time frame, we have the daily mid-range zone. Where is price being on the daily? Price is in an uptrend. Why? Because there was a break below the daily support level, which gave us a lower low. After lower low, we saw lower high, but sellers were unable to push the market continuously to the upside. Instead, buyers are broken above previous low. moving all the way to the upside. So this what a new push to the upside going to give us what a higher high. So in the daily time frame, we are likely to see what a push, an exhaustion, another push again, another exhaustion, and then we will buy above the weekly resistance to go all the way to the next monthly resistance level above over there. All right. So when you see this one new high and this new high low, don't tell me that you are going to pick your entry from here to the upside. No, if you pick your entry from here, it means that what you are buying the weekly uptrend, which is what against technical analysis. In technical analysis, when price is in a downtrend, you don't buy. It is, we all know that. Okay, we all know that. So with the weekly in a downtrend, so we cannot be buying over here to the upside. We need to wait for price to break structure or break about the weekly resistance level, the push retest before we can buy all the way to the upside. Let's take it all the way to a 4-hour time frame and add one more meaning before we call this analysis and move to the next one, or before we end and move to the next one. This is the 4-hour time frame of GBP or BTCUSD. Now BTCUSD on the 4-hour time frame, you can place it on the 4H price one moving in an uptrend. Price broke structure here on the 4-hour time frame, giving us what a higher high, higher low. It has gone all the way up with a new higher high. There will be another higher low, and the price will be able to break above. Once price breaks above, the retest comes in, and then we can be moving on the way to the up. So remember, as I said, entries are above the weekly resistance level before we can buy. Okay, so once you see what the new retest over here, don't tell me that you are buying. No, don't. Okay, don't buy. Let's wait for price to break above, retest, and then we can go all the way safely to the next resistance level above over here. So that's it also for BTC. This week in particular, we are going to be very cautious because we need trades that can recover our previous one last week loss. All right, let's take it to the next pair. All right, so next pair is going to be EURUSD. Let's go the way to EURUSD very quick. All right, so EURUSD, we are also going to begin on the monthly time frame as usual. All right, so this is EURUSD on the monthly time. Now EURUSD on the monthly time frame, we have the monthly lower, mid-range, and then lower. So what has priced down on the monthly? Price has been able to break above these equal highs of the monthly. So once you have been able to break above equal high, where are we going? We are going to the next level to create what? A new higher high. The question is, how are we going to be able to pick buys all the way to the upside on the monthly time frame or on this pair as price is going up? Let's take it all the way to the weekly, daily, 4-hour time frame to add meaning to it as well. All right, so this is the weekly time frame of EURUSD. Now EURUSD on the weekly time frame, we are seeing almost the exact same thing as we saw on the monthly time frame, which is what the strong level of buy pressure, and then we have been able to break about the weekly resistance level or the monthly resistance level over here. So since prices are looking above, definitely we are moving all the way to the upside, but there's going to be a couple of retests before our price does the movement. Let's take it all the way to a daily time frame, understand that retest and how the movement is going to move or go on this particular pair. So all right, so this is the daily time frame of EURUSD. Now EURUSD on the daily time frame, what we can clearly see now is a beautiful uptrend here on the daily time. So the daily time frame of EURUSD price moving to the upside. All right, so we saw price break above the daily resistance level with a push to the upside, giving us a higher high. It came down for a higher low, went up for a new higher high. There will be another higher low before the market moves all the way to the upside. So BTC or EURUSD, we're waiting for price to retest before we go all the way to the upside. Why? Because at our set weekly resistance level, which is 7 as well, our higher high, price will definitely come back for retest as higher low before we move all the way to the upside. Let's take it all the way to a 4-hour time frame, okay, and wait for the retest, and then we can find entry to go all the way to the upside in that manner. All right, so on to the 4H. All right, so this is the 4-hour time frame of EURUSD. Now EURUSD on the 4-hour time frame, let's put meaning into it and then look for our entry to the upside. On the 4H time frame, we have seen what a push all the way to the upside. First touch over here, impulse move, price likely to go up, drop all the way down, break structure here, and then we can pick our entry all the way to the upside in that manner. So EURUSD, okay, we're waiting for price to see sell pressure from here, drop down to complete the daily higher low, then wait for break of structure on the 4H to buy all the way to the next monthly resistance level above on EURUSD. So EURUSD, this also becomes our full and complete technical analysis. Once you are watching this video, you also compare it with your chart so that you can know exactly or where the entries are going to come in. All right, so let's move to the next pair on the list, which is going to be GBPUSD. I think GBPUSD, we are almost going to get the exact same thing, but let's talk it out. Let's check it out. All right, so GBPUSD, we're also going to begin on the monthly time frame. Okay, so this is GBPUSD on the monthly time frame. Let's put meaning into it. On the monthly time, we have the monthly upper and the monthly lower zone. What do we see? We see a push to the upside, an exhaustion to the upside, another push to the upside, created equal highs over here, price dropped down, and it's moving all the way up in that manner. So right exactly over here on GBPUSD, we can see the what price what moving an uptrend, higher high, higher low, equal high, low. We are going all the way to the upside. So this one a very beautiful uptrend on the money time. So if price is an uptrend, and where do we go? We move to the next resistance level over here. The question now is, how do we pick buy from here to reach the next monthly resistance level? Let's take it again to the weekly time frame to add more meaning. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame of GBPUSD. Now GBPUSD on the weekly time frame, let us also add more details on why we think price is going to go to the upside. All right, so on the weekly time frame, we have the weekly upper zone and then the weekly lower zone. Price is an uptrend on the weekly time frame. We saw a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. By putting it extends further down, we broke above weekly lower zone over here, which is the previous lower high, giving us a break of structure. After breaking above this particular area, price then come for retest before going up. Instead, it gave us another move all the way up. We have seen another retest. We are moving all the way to the next monthly resistance. So this is a very beautiful uptrend, moving the market to the next weekly resistance level. How do we pick the buy again to the upside? Let's take it further down to daytime before we can add more mean. But before we go to daily, we can see this strong bullish candle indicating that our buyers are present. They will push the market to the upside as well. Let's take it again to the weekly or the daily time frame to add more meaning. Alright, so this is the daily time frame of GBPUSD. Now GBPUSD on the daily time frame, let us also understand what is going on over here. On the daily, we have the daily lower and then the daily upper zone as well. What has price done on the daily? Okay, price has broken structure to the upside. Initially, it became a downtrend and has now become an uptrend. Let me explain. So sellers were able to break below this daily support level to the downside, which gave us a lower low. After lower low, we saw lower high, but sellers couldn't extend further down. Instead, they saw buy pressure on the weekly support and broke above this daily resistance level again to the upside, becoming another push all the way up. After push other business, retest after retest, continuation push all the way to the upside also. So GBPUSD, okay, I'm expecting sell pressure from this resistance level to bring the market down as higher low, because this area has become equal high to this before entry comes in all the way to the next resistance level of the monthly upside. So GBPUSD, this is what we're waiting for before we pick an entry all the way to the upside. So you can see that it is much more similar to what we're expecting on the EURUSD. So EURUSD, we're expecting retest on monthly resistance, but over here we're expecting retest on daily support level before price goes all the way up there. All right, let's take it again to 4H and then also prepare for entry. All right, so this is the 4 time frame of GBPUSD, and then almost the exact same thing as EURUSD. Okay, we're also expecting sell pressure from here to come down. Then later we want to see break of structure before entry goes in to hit the monthly resistance level. So this is our full and complete analysis on GBPUSD. Once price complete the daily higher low, as I said, we need to see a break of structure in any form before price can move to the upside in that manner also. So that's also for GBPUSD. Let's take it to the next pair. Alright, next pair is going to be gold. Let's go all the way to gold. What is happening on gold? Let's find out. Now gold, I'm going to begin on the weekly time frame so that we can be very quick with the analysis for today. Okay, so this is gold on the weekly time frame. We have the weekly upper zone, the mid range, and then the lower zone. Price is in an uptrend on the weekly time frame. Daily higher, weekly higher high, weekly higher low, weekly higher high again, but price failed to come back for higher low. Instead, it has broken about the resistance level, moving continuously to the upside. So what does this tell us? This tells us that there's more buy pressure in the market, moving the market continuously to the upside. So if price going up, we look for buys. Let's take that into daily time frame to add more meaning to this particular analysis. All right. So this is also the daily time frame of gold. Now gold on the daily time frame, we have the daily upper and then the daily lower zone. Price is in an uptrend on the daily. We've seen daily push higher high, daily exhaustion higher low. All right, higher high here, higher low. Price is looking above previous high. Where is it going? It is going to create a new high before you may see higher low again and the price goes all the way up there. But since buyers has not been able to complete the new high, then that we're going to pick entry before they complete the new high on the daily resistance level. So how do we pick entry from here to go all the way up there? Let's take it again to a 4H to add another meaning. Alright, so this is the 4 time frame of gold. Now gold on the 4 time frame, let us also put meaning into it very quick. On the forward time, what do we see? We see a forward push to the upside. After push, what happens next? Retest. After retest, continuation push from here all the way to the upside. So XAUSD will go. I'm expecting price to retest here as higher low on the 4H before we can find entry to the next one, monthly resistance level on candle confirmation. So gold, this is also our full and complete technical analysis. Let's go to the next one board. Now the next one board is going to be US oil. Let's go to US oil. Something has happened on US oil that we need to pay a very close attention to. Okay, price has finally US oil. This one is BTC. Let's go to US oil. Right now, US oil on the money time frame, price has been able to break its range on the money time. I think I've talked about this some time ago, but let's go by it again. Alright, so this is what US oil on the money time frame. We have the money up at the mid range and then the lower zone. Price was what initially in a range. Okay, we saw what strong level of buy pressure and then strong level of sell pressure buy. So this was a range or a consolidation period on the money, but this range has been broken to the downside by who? By sellers. So sellers are now in control of the market since they've been able to break below this strong support level to the downside. So if sellers are broken below, what does it mean? It means that what? We are moving continuously to the next support level below. How do we pick sells to the downside? Let's take it all the way to the weekly time frame to add more meaning. Alright, so this is the weekly time frame of US oil. Now US oil on the weekly time frame, let's put the meaning into it as well. On the weekly time frame, price what? In a downtrend. Okay, so this is what? The actual downtrend over here. If I should draw it, you have something like this. So what happened? We saw lower low, lower high, equal lower high, and the sellers have been able to break below what? This support level all the way to the downside. So you know that what? On the weekly time, the price is coming all the way down here to create another weekly lower low, which will also make contact with the monthly resistance level, completing the monthly move over here. But how do you pick the sells all the way down to this support level? Let's take it further down to daily time frame to add more meaning. Alright, so this is the daily time frame of US oil. Now US oil on the daily time frame, let's put meaning into it. On the daily time frame, price is also in a downtrend. We've seen daily push to the downside, lower low, daily exhaustion, lower high, another daily push all the way down, new lower low. There will be another daily exhaustion, new lower high, before price drops all the way to the downside. So US oil, what you're going to do is that you're going to stay patient for price to complete the lower high on the what? The monthly resistance level before we can sell all the way to the downside. Now mind you, we are not going to buy over here and expect price to hit here before we sell, okay? Those things are not cancelled, okay? These days we are not going to capitalize on movement that doesn't go in the overall direction. We're only going to stick to what? The overall direction what? Movement. So here we are waiting for price to what? Retest here as lower high before we can sell all the way to the downside. Let's take it all the way to 4 time frame. Look at how price is going up here and how we're going to sell after retest all the way to the downside. Alright, let's go to the 4H. Okay, so this is also the 4 time frame of US oil. Now US oil on the 4 time, what is price over here? Price has booking structure on the 4 time frame. This is the 4 hour middle zone. We saw a push the downside, lower low, lower high, lower low again, lower high, but we couldn't extend further down. Instead, price book structure giving us a new high. You see new higher low, and then we are going to go all the way to the upside in that manner. But like I said, we're not going to capitalize on the moves to this level, but we are going to stay patient for price to eventually get here. Once it gets here, we can wait for a break of structure before we sell on the way to the downside. So we want to see price complete the move, then break of structure from here, we sell all the way to the downside in that manner. So US oil, this is also our full and complete technical analysis. Alright, let's take you to the last pair on board, which is going to be GBPCAD. GBPCAD. What has happened on GBPCAD? Let's check it out. Alright, so this is also GBPCAD. Let's take it all the way to monthly time frame and then begin the analysis on the monthly as usual. So GBPCAD, I think this one is quite very simple to analyze. So on the monthly time, you have the monthly upper, the mid range, and then the lower zone. Price is what in an uptrend. This is a high, this is a higher low, this is a higher, this is also a higher low. So as an uptrend, where do we expect price to go? From here, we expect price to move all the way to the upside as well. So how is price going to move from here to the upside? That's the next question. So let's take it all the way to weekly time frame to find out and know how we can take the entries to the upside in that manner. Right, so this is also the weekly time frame of GBPCAD. Now GBPCAD and weekly time, we're also seeing the exact same thing. Push all the way to the upside, high, exhaustion, higher, low. There should be continuation, push all the way to the upside in that manner. So GBPCAD on the weekly, the same thing, buy pressure should move the market all the way up to the next resistance level. Now, let's take all the way again to daily time frame and understand what price is doing on daily and how the buys will come in on the 4 hour to the upside as well. So let's take it to daily. All right, so this is the daily time frame of GBPCAD. Now GBPCAD on the daily time frame, price what in a downtrend, have the daily mid-range zone over here. Price broke below the support level to a downside, which has given us what a lower low. After all, we're expecting what lower high. But over here on the daily time frame, we are not going to what pick entry to capitalize on the next low high. Like I said, you're not going to capitalize on what movement that doesn't really have high probability chance. You're only going to go with what the high probability. So what are we going to do? We are going to wait for price what to become an uptrend, because this is a downtrend. And as a downtrend, we cannot just buy to the upside in that manner. So you're going to stay patient for price to do whatever that you want to do over here. Go up, break structure, retest as higher low, and then we can buy all the way to the upside. So GBPCAD entries are going to be above the daily resistance or the daily mid-range zone to go all the way to the next monthly resistance level. All right, let's take it all the way to a 4-hour time frame and then finish this analysis up. All right, so this is the 4-hour time frame on GBPCAD. So GBPCAD on the 4-hour time frame, on the 4-hour, you also see what a downtrend is, so a downtrend, lower high, equal lower price, what just moving around over here. So like I said, we're expecting what more buy pressure from here to push the market up, break above this level first before you can be looking for opportunities to buy all the way to the upside. So GBPCAD entries that are valid will come above this one daily middle zone to the next monthly resistance level. So this is our full and complete analysis also on GBPCAD. If you love what I'm doing over here, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like and share this video if you see anyone very useful to you. Thank you for joining in. Remember to stay classy and then treat classy. Make sure to also join the free signals group. The link is in my bio. And if you are looking for my contact for mentorship or anything else, guess what? Look at the description below this video. Pick my contact up, WhatsApp me. I'm gonna chat with you, and we can move forward in that manner. Thank you for joining in. Stay classy, treat classy, guys. Peace. I'm out.